Major Garrett now in Milwaukee, ahead of tomorrow's vote. Major, the numbers, regardless of poll, really suggest a loss in Wisconsin is something of a fait accompli. So if that loss comes to pass, what does it mean for Trump in the context of primaries still to come?
Well, it really comes down to the magnitude. And look, the voters will decide, but all the polling data, including our most recent battleground tracker, has Cruz with a comfortable lead of 6 to 10 points. And when I talk about magnitude, what I really mean is, does Cruz win enough to carry most, if not all, of the congressional districts here? 42 delegates are at stake, Jock, as we've talked about before. 18 of those are given to the winner statewide, and then if you win each congressional district, you don't need a majority, you just need a plurality. You get 3 delegates for each of the 8 congressional districts. And the Cruz campaign believes it can win almost all of them in the state of Wisconsin, meaning Trump would get maybe 3, at the best maybe 6 delegates out of here. Is that catastrophic? No, but it definitely blunts Trump's momentum. And as he heads to Pennsylvania and New York, that loss of momentum could begin to sow doubts about his ability to win the nomination outright. Now, the Trump campaign still believes, and this is true, it is best positioned to win the nomination and win it outright. And one of the things in politics is always sort of a question you ask yourself every morning you wake up: who would you rather be? Well, the Trump campaign continues to be the one that says, we're ahead, we do have momentum, it is real, we have a delegate lead, and we're the closest to that magic number of 1237. But Wisconsin, because of all the publicity it's generated, the bad week Trump had last week, and a heavy loss, if he absorbs one here, could make things much more difficult in Pennsylvania and in New York, the 2 states the Trump campaign has identified as likely victories and likely big victories. But a loss in Wisconsin could change that.
You mentioned this past week, for the first time, we're in fact seeing Trump express to a degree some regret here, Major. He told the New York Times that retweeting that unflattering photo of Ted Cruz's wife was a mistake, his words. He's tried to walk back his comments on abortion, including to our John Dickerson on Face the Nation yesterday. What impact, though, might all of this have on voters there in Wisconsin?
I think the cake is pretty well baked here in Wisconsin. The ground game that Ted Cruz put together here, very impressive. He's got the assistance of Scott Walker, the Republican governor, who is very accomplished at moving voters to the polls when they need to be moved. And that endorsement has not changed the race dramatically, but it has enhanced what Cruz had to begin with, which was a message that was clear and concise and convincing, very important to conservative voters here in Wisconsin. This attempt by Trump to sort of either back away or recontextualize what he has said already is the first sign you're seeing that he's becoming overtly political, seeing mistakes and trying to reshape impressions of the mistakes he's already made. Politicians do that all the time. And it's something that Trump has avoided throughout this campaign, saying, I'm just going to be the Trump I've always been. Recalibrating that suggests that those now advising him are saying, look, this race has gotten tougher. The issues have become clearer. You need to get better. And when you make mistakes, you need to admit them, try to minimize the damage, and move on. That is a tactical shift for Trump. One thing that I'm going to be curious to see, and we probably won't learn about it sufficiently here in Wisconsin, but we will in Pennsylvania, New York, and other places, do Trump supporters like that? Are they going to rally around someone who is becoming more and more a political actor and less the outsider who lives off of his brashness, his intensity, his improvisational theatrics in a campaign? That's a question I have, and we'll gather the answers as best we can.
He's also very bluntly calling on John Kasich to leave the race. Meanwhile, for the first time, the Cruz campaign is now running ads opposing Kasich. In a way, perhaps it's what Kasich has sought for a long time in this campaign: attention, legitimacy that demands attacks from rivals. But what are Trump and Cruz really hoping to accomplish here?
Well, they've got to try to drive Kasich out of this race. You can invite him to leave, but Kasich's not going anywhere. And by getting attacks, he knows he matters. That's the one way you are complimented in politics. It's sort of odd, but that's how it works. If no one's paying attention to you, then you're just by yourself. But if they are paying attention, spending real money, attacking your record, then you know you matter. And in a place like Wisconsin, Kasich's not going to win. He's going to come in third. But getting back to our first question, does Kasich pull votes away from Trump in those congressional districts where he's trying to grab 3 to 6 delegates? If he does, that's very damaging to Trump. And what you began to see from Trump yesterday was a recognition, hey, Kasich is a problem for me in these congressional districts where I'm trying to win 3 or 6 delegates. Kasich isn't a real problem for Cruz other than he dilutes the anti-Trump vote. So both would like to see Kasich leave, but Kasich has said his entire function in this campaign is to deny Trump the nomination. And by being attacked by both, he's got a pretty good sense he's accomplishing that goal.
And perhaps get to Cleveland. Lots to look at tomorrow there in Wisconsin. Major Garrett, we appreciate the time this chilly morning.
Thanks very much.